Hi, my name is Zack Stein, and for Banned Books Week, I chose this anthology of comics called Stuck in the Middle 17 Comics from an Unpleasant Age, edited by Ariel Schrag. This anthology was challenged due to offensive language and references to drug use and stuff about teenagers. The particular story I'm reading is called Like a Weed Joe, and it was written and drawn by Daniel Clowes. I grew up around urban intellectuals, Marxists, Freudians, that type. I'm even half Jewish. To this day, I'm really only comfortable crowded and among the other decaying cosmopolitans, and I was probably even worse back then. I was around 13 or so. This is Robert Young and Like a Weed Joe. Now, this has a good, medicine. No, god damn it. There's a summer place. What? This was the year I got stuck for the whole summer with my grandparents. Stuck is too strong. They were nice. In the middle of nowhere. The cottage was right on the lake, bordered by an abandoned army base and a row of unrented bungalows. Thank God there was a TV set, or I would have seriously gone nuts. Oh, I don't see how you can tell what they're doing. You won't believe this, but my main activity was throwing a tennis ball at an old brick shed for hours at a time. Probably 4 or 5 hours a day. Bam. I had this fantasy where I would strike out at the last batter to win the World Series. My ERA, the announcers would point out, was a sparkling 0.80 for the season. Not bad, eh? It was easy to believe my own delusions. There were only two frail and enthusiastically indulgent old people around to judge me. At times I felt nearly superhuman. Strike 'em out, boy. Beyond that, of course, their intense, desperate love was stifling and uncomfortable. If I were to accidentally blind you, I think I'd have to kill myself. I know they say your psychological programming is set by age 7, but I really feel like that summer was a turning point in terms of my becoming withdrawn and passive, two favorite words of my school psychologist. Bzzz. Incidentally, this was also the summer I became a man, at least as far as my potential for reproduction goes. The secret to being alone is to organize your time, to develop habits and routines and gradually elevate their importance to where they seem almost like normal, healthy activities. When the Christ family, I'm not making that up, rented the pink cottage, which was gray, it was an enormous, thrilling event. My heart practically stopped when, after the father and mother, a teenage daughter emerged from the bushes. I sat watching them, floating invisibly, or so I figured, as they sat there for hours, not moving. A few nights later, I took a walk and wound up watching her play cards with the folks. I kept expecting something to happen, but it never did. It's weird how something like that, so mundane, can give you a boner. On the way down, I happened upon her bikini. At first I felt like I'd hit the jackpot, but quickly decided I'd better not touch it. Fingerprints, bloodhounds, etc. It smelled like wet sand and seaweed, without any hint of girlishness. The next day, my grandparents took me to a puppet show in a nearby hick town. They were so happy to be doing this for me, I didn't have the heart to point out that, as always, I was the oldest kid there by a mile. The thing is, though, I sort of dug it, in the good old summertime. Afterwards, my grandfather, who was pretty far gone at this point, tried in the spirit of neighborliness to tell an earthy story, once his forte, to some touchy Lutherans. And so we looked out there, and those goats were, oh goddammit, not goats, goddammit, donkeys. Donkeys were. My grandfather was a constant source of embarrassment. He could not comprehend the inane mechanics of modern culture, a blessing that I now admire and look to for inspiration. No, I don't want that. Just give me a toasted cheese sandwich and a, oh goddammit, what's it called? I told you they don't have that stuff. Over the next few weeks, I became more, you might say, obsessive. I memorized her schedule, 12:30 to 5-ish, no appearances on Thursday, and divided my time between sitting as though in deep contemplation and spying from the bushes. During the off-peak hours, I stuck to my old habits, though my fantasies were increasingly replaced by unrealistic rehearsals for the coming school year. Did I tell you guys about the chick I boned at the beach last summer? At night I was often overcome with a painful and thrilling romantic despair. Unfortunately, what had seemed like an expression of unfiltered emotion was always revealed as trite and pointless in the daylight. I love you. On the 4th of July, my grandparents arranged for me to make friends with Bemis, a moody and sinister local boy, son of a man they bought asparagus from, who was 2 years older than me. With no more than an occasional grunt, his stock answer to all adult questions, Bemis was able to voice an air of dangerous unpredictability. With no adults around, he was more talkative. Every word gave notice to the presence of deep, unfixable troubles. Are you adopted, or did your parents fuck for you? I was scared to death of him, but I guess I also sort of related to his alienation. You know how it is. If anybody ever tried that shit with me, I'd fuck with him and get him really mad at me, and then I'd pull out a .44 Magnum and watch him shit their pants.